Before we begin, subscribe to the channel. Strange history exists to document the moments when survival depended not on doctrine or technology, but on human improvisation under pressure. If you care about the real lessons hidden inside modern conflicts, this is where they surface. Operation Desert Storm is remembered for precision, speed, and overwhelming force. What rarely makes it into the public narrative is how fragile survival becomes when logistics strain under extreme heat, sand, and distance. Water was the most unforgiving variable in the desert. When supply chains stretched thin or equipment failed, soldiers did what humans have always done in harsh environments: they improvised. Some of those improvisations worked far better than anyone expected. The desert doesn't forgive mistakes, and dehydration kills quietly. Vehicles broke down, convoys were delayed, sand-clogged equipment designed for temperate environments. While bottled and treated water was supplied, it was never infinite. In some situations, soldiers encountered brackish water, contaminated wells, or standing pools that were unusable by standard methods. The military issued purification tablets and filters, but not in quantities or designs meant for prolonged, decentralized use. When conditions shifted faster than supply, individual soldiers and small units had to make water usable with what they had. This wasn't about comfort, it was about staying functional long enough to complete the mission and get home. Improvised water filtration wasn't reckless experimentation. It followed principles humans have used for thousands of years: remove sediment first, reduce biological load second, and treat chemically or thermally when possible. Soldiers understood that clarity wasn't purity, but removing sand, organic matter, and debris made chemical treatment more effective and less taxing on the body. The goal wasn't perfection, it was survivability. Improvisation succeeded because it respected limits instead of ignoring them. One of the most common improvised methods involved layered filtration, using whatever materials were at hand. Soldiers used socks, t-shirts, and spare uniform fabric, all layered with sand, gravel, and charcoal scavenged from burned debris. Water poured slowly through these layers emerged visibly clearer. While it wasn't sterile, it removed particulates and reduced taste and odor enough to allow purification tablets to work more effectively. The success here wasn't accidental. In fact, it mirrored ancient filtration methods used in arid regions for thousands of years. The desert didn't invent new problems, it just revealed old solutions. Some units, adapted vehicle components into makeshift filtration systems, fuel funnels, spare hoses, and even air filter materials were repurposed to strain sediment-heavy water before treatment. Air filters, which were designed to trap fine desert sand, proved surprisingly effective at removing particulate matter from water. While not intended for liquid use, their dense fibers provided a crude but functional barrier. These solutions were temporary and imperfect, but honestly they worked long enough to matter. Burned wood and debris were sometimes used to create basic charcoal filtration layers. Charcoal's ability to adsorb impurities has been known since antiquity, and its inclusion significantly improved water quality before chemical treatment. This wasn't textbook science. It was practical knowledge, really, rediscovered under pressure. Soldiers didn't need to understand adsorption curves. They just needed water that wouldn't make them sick. Charcoal gave them a margin of safety when margins were thin. The success of improvised filters really came from conservative use. Soldiers didn't trust them blindly, not for a moment. Instead, they combined filtration with chemical treatment, rationing, and, reduced exertion to limit their water demand. This layered approach, honestly, is what prevented catastrophic illness. Survival wasn't about having perfect water, it was about reducing risk across multiple steps. And in the end, that mindset is what kept people alive. Modern military doctrine, quite often, assumes uninterrupted logistics, and advanced technology. But Desert Storm exposed just how quickly those assumptions can break under environmental stress. Improvised filtration worked because, frankly, it relied on materials, principles, and judgment rather than specialized equipment. It served as a reminder to planners that resilience comes from adaptability, not just supply. The most shocking part wasn't that improvised filters worked. It was that people were surprised they did. The relevance of these improvisations, honestly, extends far beyond war. Natural disasters, infrastructure failures, and remote travel all create similar constraints. Water systems fail, filters break, and sometimes resupply just disappears. The Desert Storm experience, really reinforces a timeless truth. Understanding principles matters more than owning gear. Filtration is a process, not a product. Many modern survival kits, honestly, assume pristine conditions and perfect usage, but history shows that survival happens in degraded, messy environments where improvisation fills the gaps. The soldiers who succeeded didn't panic. Instead, they adapted. They used what they had and respected what they didn't. That lesson is, evergreen. If you value these historically grounded insights, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and share this video. Survival history isn't about heroic myths. It's about ordinary people making smart decisions when options disappear.